Carolyn Way. This is the garage over here. All the garage door openers are working fine. All right, you can see they have sensors for safety over here. They have a little heater over here that runs on hot water. The door between the garage and the interior is supposed to be automatically closing, so that's something that should be corrected. All right, washer and dryer are working fine. In the bathroom over here, everything seems to be working fine. The only thing is I noticed this faucet's a little bit loose and the drain is a little bit slow. Okay, everything else is working fine. Pantry looks good. I didn't see any evidence of any mice, rodent droppings. You've got a central vac system. That's what this is for. Right over here, the pipes are in the laundry room. We tested it, it's okay. Microwave built into the center island over here. You have another center island over here with a little wine cooler. There's actually a secondary fridge over here in this island as well. These outlets over here are not ground fault circuit protected. The ground fault circuit protection is the outlets with the little reset buttons. So if you notice when I try to trip this, it doesn't trip. So that's something that wasn't required at the time this house was built, but it's something that you may want to add. All right, you can see this island, it was code at the time, and it does have the ground fault circuit interrupters. You know, well, these don't have the buttons, but they're actually ground fault circuit interrupted back to the panel. Okay, the oven is working fine. The pot filler is working fine. For some reason, we couldn't get the exhaust fan to work over here, the exhaust hood. So that's something that is going to have to be looked into. Everything seems to be running and draining fine over here. And if you look down there, there's an instant hot. That's what this is. And that's working fine. Right, you have an undermount sink over here, and everything seems to be working fine. Sprayers are working fine. You have a dishwasher built in right over here. Right, and we ran that cycle, that's running fine. You have another little wet sink over here. And you can see that the dishwasher is running a cycle over here, and that's working fine. Okay, this is the dining room. The nitro lights that they have, the homeowner told me that when we came that they're not working. They have a bid out to repair these, so hopefully that'll be done sooner rather than later. So a lot of the lights that we couldn't test, I don't know when they'll fix it, but easy enough for me to come and take a look, or if you guys want to just do it yourselves, this should be fine. All the windows are working fine. You have French doors over here to go out onto a little patio area. You know, that stuff is working fine. Right, I can't turn on any of these outside lights because the nitro control panels aren't working. This I'm not particularly fond. They have a space over here. I mean, granted it's small, but it's larger than the space in between the balusters, and someone could sort of sneak over there, kids playing around. And given the height of the porch, it's definitely something I would try to correct. They have it over on this end as well. You see, there's a space right there. All right, I opened all the French doors, you know, this side and this side, just to make sure they were functional if you ever decide to open them up. I noticed that the weather stripping is a little bit damaged on the bottom of this door. So I'm going to take you through. Over here is the steps down to the basement, which I'll do in a later video. All right, over here you have an audio-visual room for all the components. All right, you can see the speakers in the ceiling over there. You know, anytime you have these sunken living rooms, you just got to be careful with the steps over here. You know, You don't have to have a railing there, but you just got to be really careful. All the windows and doors are working over here. I left the screens away from the fireplace just so I could show you. You know, it looks like they did a small burn over here. Pretty much nothing. And when we look up the flue in the above the damper into the smoke chamber, everything looks pretty clean. And that's the damper. Keep it closed when you're not using it. Okay. Again, I opened these French doors over here. On these doors, I noticed that there's a little bit of rot on the outside of the frames. Right? You may want to fill that with some wood filler and repaint it. Right? You can see a couple other areas here, but generally speaking, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. You know, a little bit of peeling paint there. I tested the awning. It comes out. All right, that's the switch. And you can see it opens. I fully extended it and then closed it back up. Again, these outside lights I couldn't test because of the switches. And then this outlet right over here wasn't working. It was inoperative. So see, it's tripped and it won't reset. And a little bit of wear on the floor. Right, to close these doors, just lift the handle and it automatically locks the door. That's the dining room that we went into before. Right, into the hallway, windows, doors all work. Bathroom, everything drains down over here. This French door over here, when I opened this side, this little weather stripping came out. It fell down. I have a picture of it. Other than that, the deck is good. And I've got a circle back. I wanted to show you something over here. These little pocket doors. When you close them, they don't really line up properly. So I can do a little better job closing it, but you can see it's not closing on the top. And then over here, where the vent is, there's a little bit of patching. Checked with the thermal imager, there's no moisture or anything coming in. You got a little wet bar right outside the library. For the library over here, I was having some trouble closing these doors. I left this side locked, right? It locks up on the top, but there's a large space down on the bottom, and there's no hole for this lock to engage. So it's a little bit loose on the bottom and tighter up on the top. Right, but when we go to close it, see, it's not engaging right over here, so I can just open and close it. So that's something that you may want to correct. Right, I'll just open this and I can show you there's no hole on the floor over here for this to engage. So I don't know if you're necessarily going to lock up the library. You know, someone's going to be doing work in here. And then you have another fireplace over here, which looks like it's never been used. I left the flue pipe open over here, the damper, I'm sorry. And you can see everything looks good up in the smoke chamber. It looks like this is never used. You know, again, Close those dampers when you're not using them. You don't want to lose heat and AC. Okay. And then we go to the front entrance. You can see there's this big pot. That's the only outlet I wasn't able to test down over here because I don't want to move this pot to try to get there. Don't want to break anything. So it's the second time I did that. They put a door stop down on the bottom over here so you don't hit this light. You know, it looks like someone may have hit the light at one point and then they decided to put the door stop, and it's a good thing they did because twice I hit the door stop, not the light. And then you've just got this little pantry area over here. Again, no evidence of any mold, any rodents, no droppings. The mudroom door and the front door, you know, the hardware is a little bit sticky, but it all works. You know, you've got these little closets on the side over here. There's no water leaks, no rodent activity, no mold. Same thing over here. All right, everything looks good. Doorbell works fine. Outside lights work fine in the front. All the outlets, windows work over here. They have this little glass front for the fireplace. I don't know if this is staying. I left it away just so I could show you the fireplace. You know, again, it looks like maybe they burned one thing. All right, there's like no creosote, no nothing. So, again, you're going to close the damper when you're not using it. And so, that's the whole first floor. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and ask. We'll have other videos for the outside and the second floor and the basement.